Breaking news from the 21st of September 2025, another English tourist has been attacked in Dublin Temple Bar. This time, he's been stabbed. So of course, a few weeks ago, we saw an English man get his head kicked in Temple Bar and nearly died. We don't actually know the outcome of what happened there, but this joins the long list of people that have been injured in Dublin Temple Bar. Canadian man nearly injured, American killed. So this is happening now every couple of weeks in Ireland. We have tourists stabbed, we have tourists getting injured, beaten up. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. This is the main area of Dublin as well. Temple Bar is the main thoroughfare of the entire businesses and pubs around the local area. So how anyone could get stabbed and get away with it is just incredible. You know, there should be Gardaí on every corner in flipping Temple Bar, which they sometimes park up the Garda car to show a presence, but I never really see too many tours and patrols whenever I go through that area. Gardaí and maybe the other police are too concerned with patrolling hate speech on the internet rather than actually solving actual crimes here and preventing them. Let's get into the article. So this is from the brainwashing mainstream media Irish Independent. It says here, an English tourist was treated in hospital after a knife attack in Temple Bar late on Saturday night, close to where another English tourist was left in critical condition after an unrelated attack a month ago. It's even worse than we thought. It's not related whatsoever. It's completely unrelated. So this is like now a current theme. Whenever English people come here, bear in mind you could get stabbed or you could get beaten up and left in critical condition. I mean, that's great for our tourist industry. And tourism is down 20% in the first half of the year. I'm not sure what happened with the second half of the year, tourism year. We're still in that. But the first half of the year's tourism is massively down. And of course, that's because of crazy things happening like this. You have stabbings, you know, people being beaten up. People won't want to come to Ireland if they keep getting attacked. It's completely detrimental to the tourism industry completely, which I'm a part of. I do tours all the time. Like I said on Instagram, if anybody wants a tour, I do tours of the west coast of Ireland. But you can't do that when people are getting beaten up and stabbed. It says Gardaí and emergency services attended the scene of the most recent incident at the premises in Temple Bar at approximately 11:15 p.m. Gardaí confirmed a man in his 20s was conveyed to St. James's Hospital for treatment of injuries believed to be non-life-threatening. Now, obviously, getting stabbed is non-life-threatening in some regards, but it's probably the worst day of your life. It's a horrendous amount of trauma. It is understood he received a knife wound to the chest, mind you. So obviously the man was trying to stab him in the heart, okay? But this wasn't a Romeo and Juliet ending. This was a flipping actual, you're trying to kill someone. This is not a romantic thing at all. Unbelievable. They said another man in his 20s has been arrested in connection with the incident and is currently being detained in the Garda station in the Dublin area and questioned under Section 4 of the Criminal Justice Act. Now, here's where we start to get fishy. No description, no nothing. It's all shh, hush, hush. Can we get a description of the man? No, we cannot. They don't tell us anything. They keep everything hidden from us. I mean, the amount of stuff that's hidden from us is ridiculous nowadays. I hate to see it. We have no description of the man. Was he foreign? Was he Roman Gypsy? Was he from Ireland? Was he Middle Eastern? Was he African? Was he an Irish guy? Was he an Irish inner city guy? Who was it? Who was it? We can't just cast aspersions and flip and speculate. But of course, that's what we're going to have to do because they don't want to tell us anything that's actually happening. Crazy stuff. A Gardaí spokesperson said that investigations are ongoing. Well, I'd hope so. I'd hope so. The latest attack comes just a month after an English tourist was allegedly attacked in the same area of Temple Bar. Unbelievable. In the early hours of August 21st, a man in his 40s was visiting Dublin from England and had exited the premises, got into a verbal altercation with another man, and then was allegedly assaulted. It is alleged the victim was kicked in the head during the attack. Wow, unbelievable. The victim was first taken to St. James's Hospital, but later transferred to Beaumont Hospital, where he undergo surgery and was described as being an unstable and in critical condition. So the guy is basically on death's door. He's not stable, and he's in critical condition, and he's nearly dead. A man in his 20s has been charged with assault causing harm in the case, which is still before courts. So he hasn't even been before the court yet. The guy attacked on August 21st. He's been obviously remanded bail, probably. He's out on the streets again. You hate to see any attack happen on anybody. You know, we talk about these attacks on our own people, Irish people being attacked. I hate to see tourists being attacked as well. We have a massive tourism sector. It's one of the three sectors that are the biggest income of money into the country. You know, we have the farming, we have obviously the IT sector. Tourism is up there as well. Tourism is massive. And when there's constant stories of people being attacked and stabbed and being beaten up in Dublin, it gives a bad look to the city. Dublin by far has got to be one of the roughest places in Europe. They said it's one of the most dangerous places in Europe now, top 10. And only 20 years ago, or 10 years ago, it was the safest place nearly in the world. We had zero crime. So between the poverty and then obviously illegals coming in, it just sets up a shit dynamic, guys. The amount of poverty that's in the inner city of Dublin is just crazy. But who knows who this person is? Could be an immigrant, could be a flipping crackpot from Dublin, could be anyone. So who do we know? We don't have any information. Just speculation like crazy. Ridiculous. The mainstream media is dead and you don't hate them enough because they lie to us on a daily basis. The next story we have here is a woke left-wing woman having a debate about anti-immigration with herself. Okay, she doesn't actually come on live and debate people like myself and other people. She just debates with herself. So this video is captioned "The Rationale of Irish Anti-Immigration Protesters." Of course, she's trying to diminish and basically make fun of people that are against immigration. Which, of course, this is the age-old question. Is she actually against immigration, or what is actually her rationale? We're about to find out. Because we know that immigration, illegal immigration into the country is not good. You have people coming over that are hiding their passports, burning their passports. We don't have any background checks on people. It is a disaster in some regards.
Thanks for agreeing to this interview, Frank.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
You are anti-immigration.
I want all immigrants out of Ireland.
So who do you think should stay?
So that's a fallacy. Nobody wants all immigrants out of Ireland. That's ridiculous. What people want is to be given priority if you have an Irish passport over other people.
I want all immigrants out of Ireland.
So who do you think should stay behind in Ireland?
Well, that's simple. You keep the real Irish people.
Okay.
The originals.
So who, in your opinion, are the real Irish?
Well, they be the first men.
Okay, and how would you determine who the first men are? Because, you know, we were colonised so many times.
Well, like, you know, the Gaels.
The Gaels. And do you speak Gaeilge?
No, I don't speak Irish.
Why not?
So, I mean, there's a lot to break down here. She's just throwing a ton of arguments. And this is kind of like the shotgun fallacy, where there's just a ton of arguments coming at you all day long. So the second one that she says is basically, who do you determine who's Irish or not? Well, I mean, the way you determine it, honestly, guys, is with passports. Now, we can debate if you have a passport or not. Are you part of the country? I would say, you know, you don't get preferential treatment over somebody that has an Irish passport. When it comes to genetically, if you're Irish, if you're Gaelic or whatever, if you're Celtic, you could also have that argument as well, that people get priority over other people. I don't think anyone would agree, including immigrants, that if you flip and have some guy dying on the side of the road that was born here, 10 generations of family lived here, then they shouldn't get preferential treatment over a guy that came here yesterday. That's not fair either, right?
Because, you know, we were colonised so many times.
Well, like, you know, the Gaels.
The Gaels. And do you speak Gaeilge?
No, I don't speak Irish.
Why not?
Because it was really badly taught in school, all right?
Third argument, she says, well, you know, how do you determine who's Irish, basically? That's kind of a big one. Like, how do you determine who's Irish? I would say in 2025, it would have to be the passport, right? And you have to kind of say, is it easy or is it harder to get passports? It kind of has to be like that now because, I mean, how can you... Yeah, it's very hard to determine who is who. But in places like the United Arab Emirates and Dubai, it's impossible to get passports. It takes 20 years. You have to speak Arabic. You have to be Muslim. It's very tough to do that kind of thing. Whereas here, they just hand them out like Skittles. And that's not the way you should be treating immigration in this country. Definitely not. Because the people that are here will feel hard done by. Okay? But she also goes on to say that if you don't speak Irish, then you're not fully Irish. But everybody speaks a little bit of Irish. Like I did 12 years of Irish. Like I know the odd, you know, Gahintic and, you know, Giagwich. I know like a little bit. Nobody has to be fluent in the language. That's like basically saying that like you have to be fluent in Spanish to be from Spain. Like it's a very like tenuous, it's not a good argument. Like to say that if you don't speak some language fluently, then you're not from the area. It's just a bit ridiculous, honestly.
But I would.
Okay.
If I could.
And what are you learning it now?
No.
Would you say that anyone who speaks Gaeilge is a Gael?
Well, yeah.
And what about the plenty of immigrants that speak Irish?
But no, you see,
Because you want to get rid of all the immigrants. Who's going to work in the hospitals, the nursing homes, drive our taxis, work in construction sites?
The Irish. The real Irish can take those jobs.
But we're at 100% employment, so most Irish people have a job and they probably like their job.
Well,
okay, so there's a lot of arguments. She's just throwing a lot here, okay? So the fourth one, she's saying that, again, reverting back to the first argument, where everybody wants every immigrant gone or something, which wouldn't be the case because my poor mother would be gone as well, unfortunately, which, to be honest, I wouldn't mind. But no, I'm joking, guys. We love my mom. But at the same time, no, that's not the case, guys. You know, you can't have every immigrant gone because, yeah, like I said, you need people for certain professions and certain jobs. But the key issue is that she's saying, like, there wouldn't be any people that are working in the healthcare sector or doctors and lawyers. Yeah, but these professions worked just fine 20 years ago, before I was born. Okay, they worked just fine years and years ago as well. Like, it wasn't like the entire system collapsed because we didn't have a mass importation of Roma gypsies into the country. That's not how it works.
then jobs.
But we're at 100% employment, so most Irish people have a job and they probably...
So then the fifth argument, or the fifth or sixth argument, she says that we're at 100% employment in Ireland. Like, lads, first of all, there's two things to that. When you say we're at 100% employment, that is not true. Places like Galway, other places have like 20% unemployment rate at certain times. That also doesn't count people that have been on the dole for 2 or 3 years. Secondly, when we talk about employment rate, we don't talk about the amount of money that people earn. You can be employed at McDonald's and you're earning €10 an hour. You're not able to live off that, even if you're working 100 hours a week, guys. It's not a livable wage. So although yes, we have employment, the standard of living is not, I mean, you're living in poverty if you work at McDonald's or you're working a sort of a retail job now that I worked for years. I know, like I said, because I worked them for years. So these wages aren't enough for people to be actually having a high standard of living. Okay. Also, employment is super, super low in some areas. It's not that everyone lives in Dublin. Obviously, this lady here is from Dublin. Not everywhere is Dublin. You know, people from Dublin think that Dublin is the entire country. It's not. And, you know, truly, this woman, you know, before we go on, she's basically just trying to sell out her whole nation. She hates her heritage. It's pretty disgusting to see, to be honest.
We like their job.
Well, what about all the Irish abroad?
A lot of those people.
So let's get on to the seventh argument. She said, well, a lot of people like their job. That's not true. If you look at studies, it says 72% of people hate their work. That's as high as 80% of people hate their profession. Where is she just making this up? And this is what the left do, guys. The left just make up things and then just think that it's correct.
Well, what about all the Irish abroad?
A lot of those people went abroad voluntarily. Like, they might not want to come back.
Well, make them.
You want to force our own people back to our own country.
Well, they should.
You know, a lot of them, the reason they're not here is because they have nowhere to live. So what are you going to do about all the lack of housing for all the Irish people that you're going to traffic back to our own country?
Well, they can live where all the undocumented male migrant men are living.
So most of those men are in like 12-bed dorms in what is essentially a detention centre. So do you want our own Irish people to be trafficked back from the countries that they chose to be in, sunnier countries with higher pay? You want to force them back to Ireland, to force them to work in jobs that they don't want to work in and to live in detention centres.
So then the seventh argument is that she says that people that live in IPAS centres are basically human trafficked and live in like 12-bedroom detention centres, and that people from abroad can live in there. That's not it, guys. And this is, again, this is the fallacy of turning the argument around. She basically wants to have people from IPAS centres rather than her own people. It's just very, very, very odd. Most of the people that come from IPAS centres come from third world countries that are war-torn. They don't speak English. They don't really integrate. Who's going to hire these people? It's not a good system. Nobody agrees with the system of immigration that is in this country, and you cannot. Okay, they're illegal. If you're coming here to work and you're working different sectors, IT, doctor, that kind of thing, nobody's against that. To a point, obviously there has to be a limit. But when you're trying to debate, she's literally trying to debate that IPAS centres are good. Completely clueless. Refugees, and this is coming from a lot of North African friends that I have, all tell me that refugees is bullshit, guys. You know, if you're coming from Morocco, you're not a refugee. Morocco is a beautiful country. It's perfectly safe. Like, this is all just economic, plain and simple. So she's so full of shit. And we're trying to protect the economy of Ireland as well.
Protect the women.
84% of sexual violence in Ireland is with a partner.
Well, yeah, but like...
Well, false. That is false. So this is one that's really purported and pushed out by the left-wing Marxist communist media. They say 84% of sexual violence against women in Ireland is perpetrated by Irish men. And there's zero evidence to support that. The CSO, which if you guys were born and lived in Ireland, is the Central Statistics Office. They actually showed in 2020 that most perpetrators of sexual violence were male, with women having a high lifetime prevalence of experienced sexual violence. But it's not to say ethnically who they are, guys. It just says male. So is it a flippin' foreign guy or is it a local guy? Who knows? They don't have ethnicity studies in Ireland. They don't actually show ethnicity in studies of any study. It's impossible to show that in Ireland. And a lot of people on the right are trying to get those studies done so we can actually show where the violence is coming from. But the left will not allow it. And the woke communist Irish government that we have doesn't allow that. It said it's difficult to specify the precise percentage of perpetrators who are Irish men due to its limitations. The survey did find that 80% of people who experienced sexual violence knew the perpetrator, with little difference between the overall rate between men and women. So there's literally zero difference. So what the left and this woman is trying to purport here is completely wrong. Just understand they just make up facts and they try and distort reality. It's crazy. It's literally lunacy.
I can't do anything about that. You know, like it's Irish men.
So you're saying rape is okay as long as an Irish man does it?
Yeah.
So essentially you want all the immigrants out so that you can force all the Irish people back to working jobs they don't want to work in, to live in detention centres, and so that Irish men are free to rape as many Irish women as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So that's obviously comedy and not based in any facts whatsoever. So just understand that when you see these 2-minute videos or 1-minute videos or 30-second videos pop up on your TikTok feed, do not be brainwashed by it. Because one thing I've noticed, TikTok is now used as a tool by the left to push their sort of left-wing woke ideology. It's truly scary. The left back 20 years ago used to be sane. You know, Bernie Sanders, they used to have people that have a logical reasoning to them on the left. And everybody was really left. When you're under 30, everyone's pretty much left-wing. But as you get older, you understand that this is emotional and not based on actual facts or logic. So you start to wake up from this fairy tale that you've been pushed as a child, basically. Absolutely disgusting, guys. I mean, that literally is one of the most egregious videos I've ever seen in my life in terms of what women think in this country, people that are more conservative are about. I mean, I hope people don't actually think that that's what people are about, that are more conservative, and it's ridiculous. Like I said before, nobody is fully anti-immigration. You need a little bit to help different areas if that's what you're in. But this sort of mass undocumented illegal mass migration is ridiculous, and nobody agrees with that. And the last video we have here is from the most patriotic man in the country. Okay, this lad here was told to take down his Irish flag from his house because it's far right and racist. And instead, he painted his entire house a tricolor. Let's watch. Unbelievable. So that's obviously a really small townhouse, and you can see all the decorations he has up. A bunch of different decorations. I can't really read them. It looks like sort of bar, pub decorations, like Irish pub decorations. I'm not sure if this house is a sort of a tourist house or like a halfway house for people to come and drink and enjoy themselves, but unbelievable. That's one of the best videos I've seen, guys. Truly unbelievable. So those are the videos from yesterday, Sunday, 21st September 2025. I try and make videos every single day about just the trending news topics, basically. Give my thoughts on them. Hopefully you all enjoy those. I love you guys all. If you want to support me, hit the join link underneath the video. Become a member today. Don't listen to any of these messages that are purported and put out to us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Most of the time, it's just made up facts. You know, the left don't like to operate with facts, guys. They just operate with emotions. And it's scary because when you're emotional, things like Charlie Kirk assassinations happen and crazy stuff like that. So be aware. I'll see you all in the next one, guys. Peace.